In 10 years, you will either be the person who changed your family's financial trajectory forever or the person who almost did. The difference comes down to one thing: whether you kept going when nobody around you understood why. If you're the only one in your family who invests, who tracks spending, who thinks about compound interest, who feels slightly lonely every time money comes up at dinner, this video is specifically for you. My name is Dave, and I spend way too much time thinking about the emotional and financial weight of being the first investor in a family that doesn't invest. If you're someone who's trying to build wealth in an environment where the people you love most think you're overcomplicating things, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, because you need to hear what I'm about to say. Quick question before we start. When was the last time someone in your family asked you how your investments were doing and actually wanted to know the answer? If you're struggling to think of an example, keep watching. Let me start with something most financial content refuses to acknowledge. The hardest part of building wealth in your family is not the math. It's the loneliness. You're making sacrifices nobody sees. Skipping vacations, driving a car that embarrasses you a little, saying no to things that would make life easier right now. And the people around you aren't cheering you on. They're asking why you're so obsessed with money. That's not a you problem. That's a generational wealth gap problem. And it's more common than you think. According to a 2023 Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, the median retirement savings for American families is just $87,000. The median, meaning half the country has less. And here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. A 2022 study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that financial behavior is 63% heritable through environment, meaning the habits of the household you grew up in predict your financial outcomes more powerfully than almost any other factor. You are fighting 63% of your own wiring, and you're doing it alone. That deserves more credit than anyone around you is giving you. Here's the stat that changed how I think about this. The first person in a family to build real wealth doesn't just change their own life. According to research from the Brookings Institution, one wealth-building generation shifts the financial trajectory of the next 3 generations. 3. Not 1, not 2, 3 generations of people you will never meet are affected by what you do right now. Here's what most people don't realize about being the first investor in their family. You're not just building a portfolio. You're building a new identity for your bloodline. And new identities are violently uncomfortable for you and for everyone watching. When you make different financial choices than your family, it creates something psychologists call identity threat. The people who love you feel implicitly judged by your choices. Your discipline becomes a mirror they didn't ask to look in. That's not your fault, but understanding it changes everything about how you carry this. Now you might be thinking, Dave, I don't want to make my family feel judged. I don't want to be the person who acts superior about money. Look, there's a difference between being superior and being different. You're not asking them to change. You're just doing what you need to do. But if you stop doing it because it makes the room uncomfortable, the only person you're actually hurting is yourself and the 3 generations after you. Here's the counterintuitive truth. The most loving thing you can do for your family is not to make their current financial situation more comfortable. It's to show them a different outcome is possible by living it. You are the evidence. You are the proof of concept. Don't pull that proof off the table because dinner gets awkward. Think of it like this. Imagine your family is on a ship that's been traveling the same route for 3 generations. Nobody questions the route because nobody on the ship has ever seen a different destination. And then you quietly walk to the bridge and start learning how to navigate. You're not criticizing the ship, you're learning to steer. And eventually, you get to choose where it goes. This is where it gets really interesting. The math of being the first investor is almost obscene in your favor. If you invest $500 a month starting at 25 at a 7% average annual return, you'll have approximately $1.3 million at 65. Now imagine your children start at 22 because you taught them, because they grew up watching you. That 3-year head start on the same $500 a month adds over $250,000 to their outcome. $250,000 from 3 years of watching their parent do what you're doing right now. And here's the number that should either scare or motivate you. If you stop, if you let the social pressure win, and you don't invest for just 5 years in your 30s, that gap costs you approximately $300,000 in retirement wealth at a 7% return. $300,000 for 5 years of giving in. So here's what you actually do. 1. Stop explaining. The moment you feel the need to justify your financial decisions at the dinner table, you've already lost the frame. You don't owe anyone a defense of your discipline. Results speak. Let them. 2. Find your people. You need at least one person in your life, online, in a community, anywhere, who is doing what you're doing. The isolation of being the first investor is real. Don't let it be the reason you stop. 3. Make it invisible when you can. Automate your investments so the decision doesn't have to be made in front of an audience. What people don't see, they can't comment on. 4. Write down why you started. Not for them, for you. Because there will be a moment, probably at a family gathering, probably after a long week, where you'll wonder if it's worth it. Have the answer ready before that moment arrives. Look, being the first investor in your family is one of the loneliest and most important things a person can do. Nobody's going to throw you a party for maxing out your 401k. Nobody's going to understand why you said no to the vacation when the math told you to. But in 10 years, the math will have said something back. And at that point, the conversation changes. Not because you convinced anyone, because you showed them. You are not behind. You are not crazy. You are the turning point. Drop a comment and tell me, are you the first investor in your family? And what's the hardest part? I read every single one. I'll see you in the next video.